Hello everyone, welcome to Chronicles Simplified. In this video, we will discuss the rules of comma, especially the basic rules. Rule number 1. Use an Oxford comma or serial comma to separate items in a list. That is, when there are more than 3 items, we have to use Oxford comma. For example, we invited the dancers, the musicians and the jugglers and clowns. In this sentence, the final comma before and is called Oxford comma. It adds clarity to the statement. Without it would sound like a single group, as in the jugglers and clowns. The famous reference for this rule is the legal case against the Portland-based dairy company. The company didn't include an Oxford comma. As a result, it paid $5 million to the workers. The key sentence goes like this. The canning, storing, packing for shipment or distribution of. It created ambiguity, leading to the interpretation that packing for shipment or distribution was a single exempt activity. This could have been clearly indicated that packing for shipment and distribution were two separate distinct activities if they had used the Oxford comma. Rule number 2. Use a comma to separate independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. For example, fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, et, so. When you use these coordinating conjunctions to connect two independent clauses, you have to use comma. For example, look at this sentence. Raja wanted to go swimming, but it started to rain heavily. Without a comma here, it becomes a run-on sentence and it is grammatically incorrect. Rule number 3. Use a comma after an introductory element. That is, after an introductory phrase, clause or word that comes before the main independent clause. The first type, introductory clause or dependent clause. That is, clause beginning with subordinating conjunction such as while, because, if, as, when. Look at this sentence. While I was proofreading, I found a technical error in the report. Compare this sentence. I found a technical error in the report while I was proofreading. Here we are not using comma because when the dependent clause comes after the independent clause, we don't use comma. Again, compare this sentence. She felt quite upset although she had won Miss Universe. Here we use comma to emphasize the extreme contrast in the meaning. Third type, participial clause. It begins with the participle, that is ing form. Running quickly, he caught the bus. Next, prepositional clause. It begins with the preposition. For example, after an long and arduous journey, they finally reached the summit. Next type, infinitive phrases. They begins with an infinitive. To seize your place, you would better come early. The next type, single words, short phrases like well, yes, no, however. For example, well, perhaps he meant no harm. Next type, absolute phrases. They just explain the situation. The sun radiating intense heat. This is absolute phrase. It explains the situation that comes after. We sought shelter in the cafe. Next type, non-restrictive appositive phrases. They add only extra information. Radha is an actor. That is complete sentence. But I can add extra information by using comma. My sister. Radha, my sister, is an actor. Again, there can be restrictive appositive phrases also. They are not divided by using comma. For example, my friend Raja is an actor. Here, the emphasis is on the relationship between me and Raja. Rule number 4. To separate adjectives modifying the same noun. That is, between two or more adjectives that describe the same noun independently. For example, it was a long, arduous journey. However, compare this one, she wore a bright red dress. Here we won't use comma. How to identify whether they are coordinate adjectives or non-coordinate adjectives? It can be tested by swapping their order, by inserting and or by inserting and. Here, it is okay to write an arduous and long journey, but not to write bright and red dress. It makes the sense incomplete and wrong. Rule number 5. To separate elements in dates, addresses and titles. That is, between the parts of dates, addresses and honorary titles. For example, October 26, 2025. And again, if the sentence continues, we have to add another comma after that year also. Addresses. The booking address is 456 Main Street, Alapapuram, Karaikudi, TN 63003. Note here, no comma between state and zip code. We should not use a comma between state and zip code. Again, titles. Mr. Raman, MBBS, surgeon, will present the keynote address. Here, for example, if you have completed MA, MPhil, BA, we have to use comma between our name and the title. Thank you for joining. Until next time, stay awesome. If you find this video useful, please like, share and subscribe.